Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today it's a hot day, I'm sweating, I've been working on the truck, so I wanted to show you my new Zero Breeze portable air conditioner. This thing is super cool, battery powered, totally portable, and easy to transport. It is a little bit on the larger side, so we'll talk a little bit about that, but I want to kind of give you a lot of the features and how to kind of work the thing, tell you my impressions of it. I've been using it for a couple weeks now, I've been on a couple trips with it, and just kind of tell you my thoughts and some tips and tricks that I've picked up as I've used it more. So if you want to learn more about the Zero Breeze portable air conditioner, stay tuned. Alright, so let's talk about what comes with the Zero Breeze. Now they have a few different configurations. You can buy it without the battery, with the battery. I'll put links down below to a couple of different configurations so you can kind of pick what you want. It isn't cheap, so you do have to think about that a little bit. If you go a lot in the summer, or if you live out west somewhere where it's hot a lot of the times, I think something like this would be a game changer. Again, for me, I mostly go in the winter primarily because it's too hot. So now with this, I'm actually excited to go in the summer, and I used it a few times in my rooftop tent, and it was fantastic. In a space that small, it works really, really well. So what comes in the box? You get this really nice instruction manual. It really walks you through everything and answers all your questions. Tells you how the tubes work, how to install everything, how the intake and exhaust works. It shows you how to install the drain tube, shows you how to work the remote, how to work the unit. In addition to that, you get a couple of really long screws and an Allen wrench. What those are for is connecting this. This is the intake. This actually goes right on the front of the unit there like that, so that then you can, maneuver your hose, stretch it out up to your tent, that kind of thing. But then they do fold down pretty small, as you can see. But so you could just permanently attach it by putting your long bolts through the side here into the unit, and then just leave this thing attached, screw in your hose whenever you want to use the hose. And if you don't want to use the hose, then it just sits on there and just blows the air out. It's fine. So it does come with that adapter and then a big tube to use to run the cold air up into your tent. Then it also comes with two more tubes, and the purpose of those are to vent the unit. So again, it is a portable air conditioner, right? It's basically condensing the air and taking the water out of it, and then dehumidifying it and cooling it all at the same time, and then spitting it out the front. But so then it does spit hot air out the back, just like a window air conditioner or any sort of portable air conditioners that you may have seen or used before. So you do want to get this hot air out of your tent and away from you, right? So if you had this, let's say, sitting in my rooftop tent, you'd have the cold air blowing out of the front. It'd be pulling in the already sort of cooler air from the tent, from the lower part of the front of the unit. And then on the back, these two exhaust vents basically exhaust the air out of here. Now the nice thing is they've designed it with a little button, so it kind of just locks on the back, which is really nice, and then you just press this button to remove it. But you click that in there like that. You could attach your two tubes to it. You could run your hot exhaust air out of the tent so that it's not warming up the tent while it's cooling it down. And that's basically the back. Now in addition to those two tubes, you've got this right here, which is your vent tube. Now what that is for the water, the condensation that gets created when it dehumidifies the air. You have to make sure that you hook up your vent tube. Now this has like a rubberized end on one end, and it basically just slides onto that water port, that water outlet on the unit. And then again, this has to go out of your tent too. So in your rooftop tent, make sure that this goes out and that it's at a downward angle so that the water can drain out smoothly without getting blocked and then draining inside your tent. So then last but not least, of course, you do get a power cord. Now mine just came with an AC cord. So for us overlanders, people that go camping and things like that, you're either gonna have like an electric site at like a state park or something where you could charge the thing up. So you can use this to charge the battery, or you could also just plug this in where the battery plugs into the back of the unit and power it directly off AC. So if you wanted to use this in a kid's room or something like that, when you're at home and you're not out camping, you could do that. Just plug it into the wall, plug this thing directly into the unit itself, bypass the battery, and you're good to go. Another option would be if you have a dual battery system and you have an AC inverter, then you could just hypothetically run this off of like a 100 amp hour, 200 amp hour LiFePO 4 battery, AGM battery, that kind of thing, and just run it for probably a much longer time than the little small built-in battery that comes with it. As you can see, this is the unit. I will put the dimensions up on the screen here so you know how big this thing is. It's a pretty big unit, but for a portable air conditioner that you can pick up, carry around, move around, throw in your back seat, it's actually pretty good size. So definitely not too big to be usable. Now, one thing to mention is that this part here on the bottom is the battery. So if you don't have that and you're plugging it into, let's say like a dual battery system or your starter battery and letting your truck run or something like that, then you wouldn't have this bottom part, so it would be even smaller. The nice thing about the battery though is that it'll go for about 5, 6, 7 hours, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on what settings you have it set at, how cold you've got it, and how high you've got the fan turned up. But it actually goes for a pretty fair amount of time just on battery power alone. So taking a look at the front of the unit here, this is where the air comes out. This is the input right here. So typically what you would do is you would set this, say, in your tent. There's a vent tube that comes out the back that I'll show you in a second here for the water, the condensation that's going to be created by the cooling effect of the air conditioner. And then you've got 2 tubes that come out the back for exhaust. So basically this thing is going to make a lot of heat, just like most air conditioners. It is going to make heat, and you don't want to pump that into your tent. So this here will suck the air in, this will blow the cold air out, and then the hot exhaust air will go out the back of the unit and can go out the side of your tent. So basically, as far as the buttons are concerned, you've got your power button right there to turn the unit on. Then you've got a plus and a minus, which basically adjusts your fan speed. So if you want it to blow a little bit harder, if you're really hot, you can hit the plus and you can fill it up. It is a little bright out here because it's, you know, really hot. But these do have blue indicator lights that will light up. Also, there are these mode buttons. So basically there's fan mode where you turn off the AC compressor and it's just blowing like a fan. You've got your rocket mode, which makes it go really, really fast. So that's kind of like a quick cool feature. So if you were really hot and you wanted to get the temp down in your tent or whatever you're using it in, you could hit the rocket mode. If you just want normal AC, you can hit the AC button there. The sleep mode is basically what you might want to hit when you're ready for bed. So when you want to go to bed, you don't want it to blow the battery out really, really fast. You hit that and it basically just decreases the amount of the compressor that it's using, the amount of coolness that it's doing, and the fan speed. So it kind of sets it to a lower setting so that you're not using as much battery. Now another cool thing that I just kind of figured out is there's this light button. And when you hit that, this thing actually illuminates. So if you wanted a light inside your tent or your trailer or whatever you're using this in, you could hit that light button and it will light up around this thing. So you'd have a little bit of light, which is kind of cool. So sort of a secret function too is that you can hold the negative or positive buttons, and then you can basically decrease or increase the brightness of the display. So if it's really dim or you want to be able to see it better, then you can, you know, hold one of the buttons up or down and it will let you increase or decrease the brightness of the display. So it does come with this remote, which is really nice. Obviously you can control the light, the fan speed up and down, on and off, so power on and off. And then you've got your different modes, right? So just strong if you really want it cold, cold, sleep for when you're going to bed, and then fan if you want to not use the compressor and make your battery life last longer. But what you would use this for is probably what I'm going to do with it next. I'm actually planning to sort of have this be setting on my tailgate next time I use it, then run the vent tube for the cool air up into the tent. So that way then I don't have to worry about potentially getting water in it. All right guys, so that was the Zero Breeze. I'm gonna kind of finish up here by giving you my thoughts and stuff on it when I think it would make sense to use, kind of the best applications for this thing. So again, for just the unit without the battery, it's about $1,000. For the unit with the battery and all the stuff, it's about $1,500. So again, it's fairly pricey, right? But if you are out west, if you are someplace where you camp a lot in the summer where it's really hot and you really need that, or if you have kids or pets and you're concerned about their well-being because of how hot it's going to be, something like this could literally allow you to go out, you know, a number of extra months that you may not be able to go otherwise. So I think it makes a ton of sense for things like that. As I mentioned, I'm primarily a winter camper, but only because I really hate the heat. Like, I don't like being hot. I'm okay being cold. I can always have a fire. I can get myself warmer. But before this, there was really no way to keep yourself cool except maybe a small fan, right? So now with this, you know, you could actually go out. I could take my kids with me in the dead of summer. It could be 90 degrees out. It will cool the air up to about 30 degrees from ambient. So if you think about that, I mean, even if it's 90, 95 degrees, it's going to get you down to probably 70s, high 60s, low 70s, which is about where I keep my house at home. So it's actually pretty reasonable to make you very comfortable and keep you safe in those warmer conditions. So, you know, if you have something like that, pets, kids, I think this makes a ton of sense. So, but again, if you were trying to cool down like a giant trailer or something like that, something like this may not work. It may not be the best option for you. But if you've just got like a little teardrop or a rooftop tent or like a gazelle or something like that, I think this thing is going to be kind of a game changer for you folks that want to go in the summer or want to go in the warmer temps. So again, links will be in the description down below to this thing. Overall, I really like it. It is kind of big. My only cons kind of are that it's kind of big and it's kind of expensive, right? But then the pros are, it opens up an entirely new season for me to go camping when I previously would have just avoided it. So for me, that's worth it just for the time that it's going to buy me every year, right? So if you're looking for something like this, if you're tired of being hot in the summer, I think something like this makes a ton of sense and is a great option. So if you have any questions or anything, post them in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer them, and I can do other tests and things like that. I'm going to be using it on some future trips here coming up. So again, if you have questions, just let me know what you want to know, and if I don't know, I'll go find out. So post up down below, let me know what you think. Let me know if you would pick one of these things up. Let me know if you've got any questions. And thanks for watching. In the description below will be links to all of my other social channels, so wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. There's also links to my Patreon page, where we have a Discord that we run 24/7, kind of all chat about our gear and our rigs and things like this. So it's a ton of fun, and we do a once-a-month Zoom call where we all just kind of chat and hang out, drink a beer, and talk about our rigs and stuff. So if that sounds good, check out that link down there. There's also a link to my patches and stickers on my website. I've got a ton of funny overlanding patches and stickers, so if that's something you're into, definitely check that out. And then last but not least, there is a link to the Newbie Overlanders group on Facebook. Huge group, awesome folks. Different than the bigger groups on Facebook, though, that are going to kind of beat you up for any question that you ask or make fun of you. It's dedicated to kind of newbies and getting newbies help. So if that's something that you're looking for, definitely join that as well. But again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.